Football, or what we Americans call soccer, is the world's most popular sport. There are over 4 billion people on this planet who consider themselves to be a fan of this great game. One of the biggest leagues in the world is in Spain, and it is known as La Liga. La Liga is home to 20 teams that compete at soccer's highest level. Two of the best and most famous clubs in La Liga are FC Barcelona and Real Madrid. These two powerhouses have one of the fiercest rivalries in the world. The rivalry, though, means far more than just a soccer game. In 1939, when the Spanish Civil War ended, General Franco rose to power and established a dictatorship where Catalonia was no longer granted autonomy like it used to have. All the cultural aspects that made Catalans who they were annulled. They couldn't even speak their native language of Catalan in public places, other than one place, Camp Nou, home of FC Barcelona. There, they could express themselves however they wanted. The soccer club became Més que un club, or more than a club. Their matches against Real Madrid symbolized matches between Catalonia and the rest of the central government of Spain. The fans of Barcelona are very passionate about these matches because of all this history. Recently, though, Catalonia has been pushing for independence from Spain. This has caused a major issue between La Liga and FC Barcelona. If Catalonia were to gain independence, then Barcelona would no longer be in Spain and therefore excluded from La Liga. This has been said by the president of La Liga himself, and this has led to a lot of conflict between both sides. On Barcelona's side, a lot of the conflict comes from the club wanting to maintain its image of more than a club, to retain its fans, but also simply wanting to comply with the Spanish government and La Liga. They do not want to be seen as a club pushing for independence, but they also don't want to be seen by their fans that they don't care about the people's actions. A lot of Barcelona's commercial success comes from being in La Liga, and the rivalry with Real Madrid, being excluded from the biggest soccer leagues in the world, would definitely impact them financially as well. From La Liga's side, they want to give Catalonia consequences for leaving Spain. La Liga put a rule into place in 1929 that all teams in their league must be in Spain. Seceding from Spain would cause Barcelona to not be in Spain anymore, violating the rules set forth in 1929. FC Barcelona and La Liga do have a lot of mutual interests, though. Barcelona is arguably La Liga's best team, one of its biggest fan bases. FC Barcelona is also worth $4.06 billion US, and that ranks fourth in the most valuable sports teams in the world. Real Madrid is right above them at $4.09 billion, according to Forbes. La Liga's standpoint, losing a team that valuable will ultimately have serious financial consequences. From Barcelona's standpoint, leaving La Liga would devalue their club because of the loss of high-level competition. Something else that needs to be considered, though, is the fact that 13 of the 14 past championships of La Liga have gone to either Real Madrid or Barcelona. If Barcelona were to leave La Liga, there would be a severe loss of competition in Spanish football. Real Madrid would likely win every single year, like the Golden State Warriors do in the NBA. From a fan standpoint, I'd personally hate to see that happen in La Liga. One of the things that both sides of this argument need to do is communicate with each other about what their standpoint actually is. Barcelona needs to explain to the La Liga officials what their true thoughts about Catalonia going for independence. If Catalonia is successful in its efforts to secede from Spain, La Liga needs to communicate with Barcelona and not give them a cold shoulder on the argument. This is one of their biggest teams, and they understand how huge of a blow it would be to lose them. Barcelona understands that their position in La Liga is one of the reasons why they are so successful. Personally, I think a face-to-face meeting between both organizations' top officials would be the best way to avoid any misinterpretations so they can express their true feelings about the matter. The best way to negotiate this dispute would be through integrative bargaining. The best thing for both sides that can be done is to let Barcelona remain in La Liga, even if Catalonia secedes from the rest of Spain. If El Clasico matches were dramatic before, imagine them after the split between Catalonia and Spain. Tensions would be at an all-time high in the 116th year of this matchup. The ratings for this storied rivalry would be through the roof. Both sides of this argument need to collaborate so that they can take advantage of the successes that would come from this situation. The biggest barrier that needs to be overcome from this situation is the fact that La Liga would now be in two different countries. There probably has to be officials in both countries, and probably the biggest deal is how the finances would work with all the country barriers. Another huge barrier in the Spanish government's role is the situation. They probably won't be happy about Catalonia's pride sports team still being in the Spain Soccer League without no repercussions. La Liga will have to go to the government and explain the benefits to the government, like how much they'll be able to make off of taxes for these very large organizations. After looking at everything in a holistic fashion, the best thing for both sides of this argument to do is to try not to split apart. They need to do everything that they can do to remain one. They need to make sure that their interests are aligned, and that once that happens, they should be able to accomplish anything that they need to. Both La Liga and FC Barcelona are organizations with storied pasts. With a lot of communication and collaboration, this can continue as long as they would like. Both are successful because of one another, and that's why they shouldn't split. Thanks, and gig 'em.